We're on live.
I could get a motion that we discuss only those items, or that we do only the items discussed in closed session under Virginia Code 2.2-3711A3. There's two items under acquisition or disposition of publicly held real property, and two items under Virginia Code 2.2-3711A8, consultation with legal counsel.
Second.
And may I have a roll call for that, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klunz?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Now we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. That will be led by Councilman Reese, and the invitation by Councilman Reese.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd like to join us in prayer, please bow your head at this time. Dear Lord, thank you for your many blessings. Please watch over and guide us as we conduct the business of our town, and grant us wisdom in all that we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Don't think there's any modifications for public session. So we'll move on to, I'd like to welcome all of the guests and here and in person and online. Thank you for being here today. Now we'll move to the first public hearing, ordinance 2022-03, zoning amendment to section 6.1, lots of record. May I start with a
Presentation, and for those of you who have not seen Caroline Smith, she's been with us since mid-January, but this is her first opportunity to actually make a presentation to you all as council. Our former employee Brady did those, although Caroline has been in attendance and participating in the planning commission meeting. So please welcome her. And now with Brady not here, she's taking on a few of the economic development responsibilities until our new hire comes in to fill that position. So Caroline, why don't you go ahead and explain this particular zoning amendment?
So the town staff has proposed amendment Article 6, non-conforming lots, buildings and uses, section 6.1, lots of records. And specifically it's going to be 6.1.5, and it states a lot of record that cannot accommodate the construction of an originally sized structure as determined by the evaluation of similar properties within the same block and zoning district, fronting the same street due to the front and side of a corner lot setback. Requirements of the respective zoning district may be permitted as a less than required setback to not less than the average of the setbacks on the existing developed blocks within the same block and zoning district fronting the same street. And I know that's a mouthful, but this amendment would only allow the development of smaller lots that were created before our current zoning regulations. And so this would let their setbacks be less, but only less if it's the average of the other lots on the same fronting street. And we decided to do this because there's been an increase in demand for housing and the amount of developable infill lots and lots of records within the town.
And the planning commission recommendation?
Yeah, and the planning commission recommended.
and
I think unanimously for those that were present, is that correct?
Yes.
Does council have any questions? Is that
Just one question. For determining that average, does the person seeking the zone, does they seek a zoning variance for that, or do they have to file a permit and just a regular application? How do they figure that out?
I don't think we've actually discussed that.
If,
It would just be in the zoning ordinance, so automatically they'd be able to, as long as it's no less than the average setback.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just have to present a plan and have it approved by whoever's the appropriate official for that.
Just
but
like
the
any
real
other
idea
setback.
is to not require new construction. My words, to stick out like a sore thumb.
Sure.
because it has a different setback from all of the other houses in that one block.
Sure.
And it's limited to that block. And as we had new construction, particularly these two new homes on Pierce Avenue, we want them to conform to what is the typical lot setbacks, which in today's zoning ordinance would require a much different setback than what is in place in all of those other homes. So this is just trying to accommodate and make it easier really for people to build on some of these infill lots in our town than they would otherwise be able to do.
Thank you. Have a one.
Any other questions? Right, with that, I will open the public hearing for ordinance 2022-03 zoning amendment to section 6.1 lots of record. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Okay, if not, I will close the public hearing. And then does council have any other questions before someone makes a motion?
I move we adopt ordinance 2022-03 as written.
Second. And may I have a roll call for that, please?
Yes, I understand. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radford?
Aye.
Mr. Pond?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
We'll move on to the presentations in fact. First presentation will be Dublin Chief Lambert and Ty Kirkman, the town manager.
Good afternoon, everyone. Some of you know me, some of you don't, so I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm the Dennis Lambert. I am the Chief of Police in Dublin. And I just wanted to come forward and let it be known that, a lot of agencies, we kind of have this turf thing where we don't want anybody to intrude upon it. We're not like that in Dublin. Recently, and I'm not going to give away too many operational details or names, but we had our first murder in over 25 years. And your chief stepped up and gave us a phone call and said, "What do you need?" But we're not too proud to say, "Come help us." So I'm not going to mention her staff. I'll let her introduce them. I see if they're in the room. But I'm just telling you guys, we want to thank you so much for the cooperation that we received from Chief Neese and her staff. We couldn't have done it without them. And, I hope everybody out there is looking at this and realizes with the things that are going on in this world, we need each other. And we just so much appreciate the cooperation that we got. I wanted you guys to know how much we appreciate it. I couldn't let it go unnoticed, so thank you. I want to let my partner in crime speak.
Which is rare that he lets me speak. We bring greetings from the mayor and the council, and we'd like to echo what Dennis said. It's rare that we get opportunities to work together. And the one thing we would like to convey to you, first of all, thank you to Jill, and thank you for the opportunity, but this is the way we want to work in the future. And anything that we have, any assets that we have, any way, shape, or form that we can assist and help, we're just excited that this is happening this way, and it's going to continue as far as we're concerned. We're very excited. And we couldn't be happier in your hire with Jill. She is absolutely phenomenal, and we feel like it's a community between us. So thank you very much, and thank you and everyone that came and assisted us in that. Thank you.
You want to introduce?
Thank you, those were awesome words, but I didn't do anything. I just put our best people, your best people, where they needed to be, and that's Captain Mike Hudson, Lieutenant Sarah Grimm, and Detective Jamie Brown. I don't know if they want to all come up here so you can get a good look at them. I guess not. That's a job. So,
And this is being put live and rebroadcast on Facebook, so we want your faces.
come on up, everybody.
Big round of applause for it, too. Jenna's being modest when she was saying, guys, she was there as well for the wee hours of the morning. So, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay,
You guys did all the work.
I just got a quick comment. Dennis and I have worked together for many, many years, and you got a great town manager. Most times we chased him around. The town, as the council I speak, and I hope always we can never be more proud of our chief police department. how she has turned, these guys have turned things around here. We're very proud y'all called the phone today. I had no doubt they would come here. So we're very proud of our police department. Thank you.
And Sonia wants a picture?
Picture with all of you guys.
Oh, give me that one.
And you guys. It should be boy, girl, boy, girl.
All right, well, I'm come up here with the girl.
All right, 1, 2, and 3. That'll work.
Mike, I had my eyes closed. Could you do another?
It's time for you to go home.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I was past the last few spirits. I don't remember.
Chief Lambert is currently the chairperson of the New River Law Enforcement Academy. So he serves in
Many capacities. We wear many hats in a small town, don't we?
Oh, yes, sir, we do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike, for taking the time over here. I could hide behind. Get out of that one. Thank you. Our next presentation is Project Lifesaver with Sonia Ramsey and Lieutenant John Salter.
I wonder when you were there hand up.
This is one we got a real heavy on.
That's brain, I'm just here to be quick.
Hi, thank you for letting us come and present to you our Project Lifesaver. We are thrilled to present this to the community and hope that this will be a great resource for all of our residents. Project Lifesaver was founded in 1999. It's a 501c3 community-based public service to help locate wandering persons. In 1999, Chesapeake, Virginia saw the need for something to help locate wandering persons because they kept having wandering persons or Alzheimer's patients missing. They had 3 incidents at that time. There was a 70-year-old Alzheimer's patient that wandered from his home. He was found dead 4 days later, a quarter of a mile from his home. They'd been looking for him all of those 4 days. One July, an elderly man wandered from a nursing home in Chesapeake. A search was called off after 2 weeks of searching. In November of that same year, he was found by a jogger 75 yards from the nursing home. The patient left the nursing home during a snowstorm. The patient was found frozen to death 2 days later, 200 yards from the nursing home. So this is why the need was seen for this program to be developed. The cost factor of a search for a missing person, and at the time this was all based just on Alzheimer's persons. The cost factor, when you consider the manpower that it takes to look, the time, the money that it takes, because if you're calling in search and rescue crews, you've got to feed them, you've got to have all of the salaries to pay them, all of that thing. So the national average cost for each search, just one search, is $13,500. So what they did back in 1999, someone came up with the idea that biologists are tracking wildlife all the time using radio frequencies. So they wondered why can't we track people that way? And they did a 15-month pilot program using an $88,000 grant from Chesapeake General Hospital as funding. They did the pilot program up in the mountains of North Carolina, which, you know, are very far apart, the housing, the residential area. There's a lot of forest land. It's hard to find people. The first search that they did happened within 3 months. They put the transmitters on 12 people. The first person wandered off in 3 months. That person was found in 5 minutes in the mountains of North Carolina. So within 1 year, all 12 of the persons had wandered away from their home. All 12 were found within 30 minutes using 2 searchers and the equipment. This is why we want to bring this and are happy to bring this to the residents of Pulaski. So today, Project Lifesaver, that was 1999. Today, Project Lifesaver has over 1,646 member agencies. The number of reported rescues is 3,827, but we're dealing with police officers and firemen, and they don't like to do reports. So not all of them are reported. You can do the search, have a great outcome, but if you don't report it back to Project Lifesaver, they don't have that data for their statistics. So you can guarantee that that number is at least twice that. The average time it takes to do a search and rescue is 30 minutes. If we look at the numbers today, Alzheimer's, autistic children, persons with Down syndrome, people who have a traumatic brain injury, and you consider that there are 6+ million people in the United States alone that have Alzheimer's, just Alzheimer's, that doesn't count the other groups. That number by 2050 is expected to be triple. People are living longer. The baby boomers are coming into the age where Alzheimer's is typically found in people. The life expectancy. A lot of these factors are leading up to there being triple the amount of Alzheimer's. 59% of those who wander are known to wander. Approximately 36,000 today per year people wander in Alzheimer's patients alone. That doesn't count the other groups. Each one of those is $13,500. That costs the United States $486 million per year. So having the equipment, while there is an upfront cost to it, is a huge money saver for not only the town but the citizens as well. We want to offer this to the citizens for free of charge. You can charge up to $25 a month for the service. We all feel that it's very important that we offer this to our citizens for free. We do have a large population that, $25 is a lot of money. So we want to provide this service to our residents for free. So Lieutenant Saul is going to tell you how the equipment works. It's based on a radio frequency. And each transmitter will have its own radio frequency. So he's going to explain to you the receiver. The receiver is what we and the fire department will use when we go out and look for someone. So the receiver is what detects the radio frequency, while the transmitter is what the patient will actually wear. And we'll talk some more as he shows you these and talk about it just a little bit.
She's already explained most of it, so we wouldn't need like that. Like you said, this does work off of radio frequency. Each client is assigned an armband. We can also put it on their ankle if need be. They're made out of a durable material where it's not easily destroyed, torn, ripped off. I'll give you, let's take a look at one of the receivers here in a minute, but essentially what ends up happening with these is this thing has an on-board antenna, and we will already know what the radio frequency is. We can cut this on. You can hear the chirp, and as you get a little bit closer, where you point towards where that beacon is, you can hear it gets weaker, and then as you point towards where it is, so small scale example, this works in a very large area. This antenna is actually good for, this is a directional antenna, so it will pick a signal up to a mile away. And we also have antennas that are magnetic and attached to hoods of our vehicles. Those are actually a little bit smaller area. They're a 360-degree receiver, and what they end up doing is you get close, you get in the area, and you know you're within a quarter mile when you start picking up the frequency. Then you use this and you track them down. We were able to go out, and the gentleman who taught our class was from North Carolina, didn't know the area, so he just went out, went wherever, and took these with him. Gave us the frequency before he went. We were required to find 3 of these within 15 minutes, and I think we had found all of them within about 9 minutes, something ballpark. This will save lives. I have absolutely no doubt this will save lives. As far as the radio frequency options, pretty much unlimited. You can't have 2 of the same frequency within the same county, or at least within 10 miles apart, but there's so many different frequencies, that's never going to really be an issue. Fastest way is by helicopter. If you get into a worst case scenario, you can take this thing up in a helicopter, and I think that's what they're doing out in the eastern part of the state. That's potentially something that we're looking at down the road, training portion of that. I know we've got helicopter pilots and whatnot here. We've got lifeguard. If we got into a situation where we absolutely had to find somebody quickly, we can get up in a helicopter and find them pretty fast. But even on the ground, this is incredibly fast. We've got, I think, maybe one more receiver. Is that right?
We're hoping, I have some letters out to some of the organizations like the Military Club and the News Lodge and anyone else I can think of. The 2 receivers were funded by funds from the town, and then
These are ARPA funds that we use.
ARPA, yeah.
The American Recovery Act, and I will just mention that we did have this program in place in the police department some years ago, and it went into disuse for whatever reason. And as we looked at trying to reinstitute the program, the technology had changed and improved significantly. And we felt like it was something that should be offered in our community and did take advantage of the ARPA funding, and we are making funds available if we need to for that second transmitter so that they can triangulate. I wanted to wear this and just leave the meeting, and they said you were going to let Jill do it.
We were fine. Very good.
One thing about this, as he passed it around, also, this band here is the first phase. You try this band first. It's the cheapest. It's, most people it will work on. But there are some who figure out how to cut off the band or something. They will get this off. The transmitter itself can be worn on an ankle. It's waterproof. So once it goes on, it doesn't come off. It's made to not come off the patient, but on occasion they will take it off. So the step up from this then is a nylon band, which is much harder to cut. And then if we have a patient who's just very able to do things, there is a leather band that will actually screw down, and you need a special tool to get it off. So there are progressive bands available.
We also got colored cases for some people want different colors, or some families may want different colors. We're trying to be mindful of that.
And when we had the program before, correct me if I'm wrong, Jill, we did charge.
We did.
And that charge did inhibit some people from being able to make use of the system, and we had very few of the bracelets available. So we've tried to really step up not only in terms of the use of technology, but the availability. And Sonia's doing a terrific job in her role generally, but also is out there with her hand out asking for donations, and we think this is a program that a lot of our nonprofit organizations will want to support, because it has a direct benefit back to citizens who are in need, and should make families of some of these individuals feel much better about their loved ones as a result of our ability to track them.
And the good thing about the Project Lifesaver program, if a person doesn't want to make a donation directly to us, or an organization doesn't want to, they can actually deposit money through Project Lifesaver into our account. And then we can spend that money. So they can actually do it directly to Project Lifesaver. And with them being a 501c3, it is tax deductible. What Lieutenant Saul is passing out right now is a brochure that we created. No, you're great. It's a brochure that we created. These we put out in the public, passing them out wherever we go, just to help get the awareness out there.
What's the battery life on that?
Typically, the batteries, well, we change the batteries every month. But the batteries are, specific battery life is up to 45 days, I believe. So we will be changing those out early to make sure that we didn't get anywhere near that.
And there is a responsibility on the caregiver's part. They do have to check that battery every single day and record that the battery is functional. They have to check the strap. So there is a responsibility on the caregiver's part. Most of the patients, Alzheimer's, autistic, Down syndrome, most of those have a caregiver. And if they're wandering patients, they have somebody who's living in their household. So there is that responsibility on the caregiver's part. And then once a month, we will go out, we change the batteries. That's just a given. Every 30 days, they're going to get changed, and we're going to check everything and make sure that everything's in good working order. And their other responsibility, which is huge, is to report to us as soon as possible that the person has wandered off. Now, there is also they can buy an at-home small version of the receiver. And if the patient wanders more than 25 yards from the house, that receiver will pick that up. But that is at a cost totally on the caregiver's part.
Basically, a perimeter along.
Mm-hmm.
It's 45 days.
Well, again, we just wanted you all to be aware of this opportunity that our police department is making available to the community. It's an idea that they brought to our ARPA committee to say we would like to use some of the money for this purpose in the same way that they came forward and wanted to have a canine who is now the most popular member of the department, with the exception of Sonia. I think Sonia and
The two of them together.
yes, yes, they really are. And Sonia's doing a terrific job in her community relations, public relations kind of role. And this is the individual who we hired in the civilian position that was previously a law enforcement officer, and she's been able to get out into the community and I think really sell the very positive aspects of what the department is doing and how citizens can be more involved in protecting themselves and the community. So,
Got a question. Just the chief real quick. And it has, I guess, all fit in there. Are UTVs vertical about that?
What's that one?
The UTV or four-wheel?
I believe we're set to have the UTV around June, I believe. Polaris reached out to us, and we already have a trailer. That's
With
done.
this right here.
Oh, I think that would be great, especially with Nate Repass, who's been working on some of our trails, making sure they're cleared off, and some of the other things that you guys have going forward. The UTV can only assist in this, I think.
How many transponders do we already have?
At this time, we have 7 transmitters. So,
What's the cost to transmit? Let's just say an organization wanted to donate to the cause and wanted to get 10
Transmitters come in different There's different packages that they come in. What we've been getting is a 1-year package, which is essentially you get the transmitter and enough to run it for a year. I think those are $300 per transmitter, but that's the transmitter, the batteries, and the fan, everything. And I'm sure there are cheaper options than that as well, but
If you would buy them in bulk.
right. I don't know about bulk, but we can get that information.
I think you could purchase just the transmitter without some of the extra.
I'm sure you can, without the batteries. The problem is the batteries are exclusive to Project Lifesaver. They want you to use their batteries and their equipment. So that's kind of what we run into the issue.
And it's not just, so each pack, and I didn't think to bring one of those, each pack with the transmitter in it has your band, your transmitter, the batteries for a year, oil that you need to lube. There's like a metal or rubber ring in there that you have to have. It's everything you need for that for the year. But
What you're saying, you need Food City to step up by
that would be wonderful.
No, but so we currently have the ability to serve, to set 7 people up.
Yes.
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 Is there
What
a
is called?
process that somebody goes through, a qualification, paperwork, that kind of thing?
There is, they can just call me or email me. My information is on the back there. And there's no documentation that we need. I mean, we're going to trust that if somebody's telling us that they're a person who's wandering, that they are. Like I said, there's a responsibility on the caregiver's part also. So we're going to trust that information.
There is a packet that you have there that has a lot of information.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do have a whole packet, like, they have to fill out an application. There's a lot of information that we need to be able to assist with that. So there is a packet of information that they will need to fill out.
It's like patient specific information, demographics.
Mhm.
It goes over basically the care and maintenance of this, and they assume the risk of, not taking the proper care and maintenance of this $300-some piece of equipment right here. So, and when you have one down, you don't want to leave that person. We don't want to have all 7 out at the same time. So having some extra would be great. We would like to service more, but if you had one go down, malfunction, or it was damaged in some, we would like to have 1 or 2 at least to be able to put that right back on that patient. But so there is some information. There's a packet that she'll go through, and it's just stuff that would help us in the search.
And I would point out that our people, both fire and police, had to be trained by Project Lifesaver in order for us to have the program and to make it, available. So that's the reason why we want to get some additional equipment too, so that the fire department can have one of the units in addition to the one that we have in the police department in case they get the first call and need to go out. It's something associated with the fire and rescue.
I'm just curious, with Project Lifesaver, do they have what's the anticipated participation? Do they have some data that, it's more a curiosity question than anything.
I can tell you that we have had a lot of people reach out to us over the last couple of years asking if we do this. We've had people, not just town citizens, that have reached out asking, hey, we know you all used to do this. The want to will be there, and the clientele will be there. I feel certain we'll probably be able to fill this up relatively quickly.
I think in communication with the Project Lifesaver, everything that they do, the clients, and if they go out on a search, all of that does get reported to Project Lifesaver. It is, they do share the data with them, so it does help the program in that respect, I think. And then, so everything that they will do in any of the clients, not like their personal information, but hey, we had to go out on a search, and this is what we did, so they'll count. That's probably where some of your numbers are, kind of the reporting discussion she was having. So they will communicate very frequently with Project Lifesaver. I mean, this whole program is directed by Project Lifesaver, and our policy that we drafted, that so Lieutenant Parley drafted, is in direct correlation to their policies and procedures. So not only would these folks be following our program, we follow their program. So we have to meet their standards and stay in contact with them.
But But they come, but people who are interested come through the town, and the town handles all aspects of the project, of the program.
Yes.
And Project Lifesaver is kind of like the guardian.
They're like the umbrella organization, and we're part of the partnership.
So the training that Ms. Burton was speaking of, we went through the training. Part of the training was to certify us on being able to use the equipment. And as Lieutenant Saul said earlier, we had to go through a practical before we can get that certification. The second part of the training for us, and one other person from our agency, as well as a couple of people from the fire department, was train the trainer training. So now we are able to train the basic class that we can certify other members of our department and the fire department. So our goal is to eventually have at least one person on every shift for the fire department and the police department who is trained and certified to use the equipment, so that when a call comes in, a person is wondering, they can immediately go out and start searching and call someone else in to help them. So that's the goal.
I have a question. No, I just as usual. Could this be something that would be that their insurance could go through and pay for those too? Is that a possibility? Like,
They do not have, that is not, I asked the same thing, and they said that they're not set up to do that right now.
That has been a question in the past, and we're not able to accommodate
because I
them.
feel like that, you want if you're the insurer, you want the person to be alive, or, and.
I mean, that definitely someone should look into that, because that's been asked us several times, and I don't know that we've ever been able to figure out a way to do that, but,
I think they said it may have something to do, it may affect their non-profit status. I believe it could have something to do.
and then we would have no way to take that type of monetary contribution. What we did take in the past when we charged goes right back into the fund if we ever had to replace batteries or anything else. But like Simon said, we'd like to do what we can to offer this for free, because it is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And it's a lot of responsibility, so it's a lot to ask and caregiver.
All right, well, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And Sonia, I know you were very popular at the Easter too. Might be because you have stickers too, but.
Well, let me just tell you, Chief Labor tried to rein in on my popularity. So now I'm going to be able to say
So maybe we're a little competitive.
Thank you so much. All right, next on the agenda is Resolution 2022-15, appointment. Olivia Hill as town clerk effective May 2nd, 2022. If I can have a
And
motion.
before you take that motion, Mr. Mayor, if I could ask Olivia to stand up and, show you that she actually survived a full day. This is her second day on the job, and we're very pleased to have her. I think she's had baptism by fire. We've had been looking for all kinds of records to include, Mr. Penn, when you first became the chairman of the Housing Authority, which goes back many, many years, and we did that search today. But Olivia is a local resident, has been a member of the community lifelong, yes, right? And so we're very pleased to have her, and obviously want you to approve her appointment, which is a responsibility of the council, and she will be taking the roll and votes in the minute keeping after today. I agreed that since it was only her second day on the job, I would do this one more time. But she's sitting and observing. I would also tell you that tomorrow we have a company finally coming in to improve the audio in this room, so that by the time we have our next meeting, it will be much clearer when you all speak, as well as what's recorded for Facebook purposes, because we have gotten repeated complaints about the quality of the audio. It's taken us time to get somebody to come in. We've had to be on a waiting list. They were going to try to get in here today, but didn't think they could be complete before their meeting tonight, so they will be in first thing tomorrow, and hopefully you'll see some more positive comments than we've had in the past as it relates to people being able to hear those of you who have soft voices. So we'll see how that goes. But please feel free to contact Olivia in her role as member of the council. She's here to help not only with the council meetings, but any other needs that you all might have. And when she's not busy doing that, I'm going to make sure she's busy doing other stuff.
Olivia, welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 2022-15, resolution appointing Olivia Hill as clerk of council.
Second. And we have a roll call for that, please.
Mr. Kent?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Proudly,
Mr. Collins? And Mr. Reeves?
Aye.
So that moves us to the public comment period. I have no slips showing that there are any public comments. Would you like to make one? All right, with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. If you would look at minutes from April 19th, 2022, and once you do, someone would like to make a motion to accept those.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the meeting minutes from Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. Oh, excuse me, not that. I can't do that. This says somebody else.
Sorry. No, there's one else. He wasn't here, so he won't make the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve Tuesday, April 19th, 2022 council meeting minutes.
Second. Okay. And if all in favor would say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the same. Now we'll move on to the council comments. Mr. Penn, do you have any comments there? Mr. Dawson.
I had one question in regards to the sidewalk area that we still have blocked off. Is there a timeline associated on Main Street? Sorry, we've had that like for what's the time frame like on the sidewalk being open and back it up?
Actually, the building that surrounds, we have talked to the owner, but there's some repairs, but it right now is dangerous. I don't have an exact timeline, but I'll be happy to see what we can.
That's fine. I just looked, so basically it's going to be an extended period.
Yeah.
But that's going to be away.
Very soon.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Reeves.
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Radcliffe.
I'll give you a break, I'll have to leave. Real quick, I want to congratulate Olivia Hill on her appointment. It's a better one. I've known these kids since they've been in Dayton. Had the pleasure of coaching her two brothers. In basketball, I don't believe she married Hale Stinker. But she is a good one.
I told her she had the good housekeeping seal of approval from Mr. Radcliffe. He did tell me that I had made a good choice.
Mr. Collins. And Mr. Reeves.
I don't have any.
The only thing I have is would you have public works or someone check the water tower off of Bertha? I hear that it overflows quite often and comes into 1027 Melbourne Street, that they have issues all the time.
Melbourne, you said?
That's where they live. But it comes, it's the one that's on Bertha, it's up above, and it makes a waterfall basically, he said. Especially, I mean, it'll do it all the time, he said it'll go over, and then it'll stop for a while, and then it overflows again.
We'll have it checked first thing in the morning.
He said this has been going on for like, as long as he's lived, like 30, 40 years or more. His father lived in Cretan. I'm like, that's a problem, we need to fix this a lot of money.
It may be one of the water tanks that will be taken out of service when we do the Brookmont project.
That's what I'm hoping. I told him that it could be, and that they were all being checked and repaired.
And in fact, the good news is we finally got yesterday word from the health department that we'd satisfied all the boxes that needed to be checked. So we are going to be putting that project out for bid. It will be advertised as of Friday. And in roughly 30 days, we will be able to hopefully award a contract to get that work started. In addition to that work, we are, with again ARPA funds, redoing the inside and painting the outside of all of the tanks. I think I told you previously one was so bad we actually had to order a replacement tank. But we have brought one of those back into full service where they've done repairs, and we emptied another, and it's in the process of being repaired. But we have to also monitor and move around the flow so that we don't impact not only residents but major businesses that have water needs. But that project is going well.
Please don't miss the water down on this side. I got a lot of plants. One other thing is, and I wanted to ask Chief, but she snuck away. I've had complaints on Commerce of cars racing between the curves going down, and I can talk to her if you can but maybe they can just set in that way some, and it might even just deter just seeing police up there. I appreciate that. That's all. Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to the manager's report. So that's all.
And I have lots of things this evening. I made a list to make sure I didn't miss any of them. Don't believe that I had shared with you, but if I have, it's worth repeating, that we have hired our first female firefighter. We had to make a few accommodations within the living quarters to accommodate having a female, but she is a young lady who previously had served as a volunteer, and whose family's been in firefighting for many, many years, and so we're very pleased to have that. That's the first time in history of that fire department that I think goes back prior to the formal creation of the town that we've had a female involved. So that is a trendsetter. I want to mention two pieces of good news as it relates to economic development in our town, and some of them have been covered at planning commission meetings, but not necessarily gotten a lot of press otherwise. That is the fact that Beamer World purchased the shopping center on Memorial Drive, and they will be relocating their operation out of Fairlawn into that area. They will also be renting out some retail space and hope to have some businesses go in there that will support their staff, and they do anticipate an increase in the staffing at that location. That move will occur within the next year. What's very exciting on the housing front, and we've talked on many occasions about the need for additional housing in the town, is that Shaw Development has decided that the townhouses that they got the special exception for from the council several months ago, and we anticipated would be rental properties. They have recently been to the planning commission and done the necessary subdivision of the property, so those will now be 12 townhomes for purchase in the downtown, and there will be at the corner of 5th and Washington, and we hope to see that construction will start sometime later this year, although we all know what's happening with the interest rate right now, so I'm not sure how quickly that will happen. Our human resource director, who's sitting here this evening, decided that we needed to have a blood drive and a healthy competition between police and fire. That will happen this week on Thursday at the train station. You don't have to be a policeman or fireman. You don't even have to be a town employee to participate. In fact, I think we've had more people as citizens actually sign up in advance to be a part of that blood drive than we've had employees at this point. She'll go out and make sure we get more employees there. But those who register in advance will actually get from the Red Cross an e-gift card that they can use, and we do have a food truck that's going to be there, as well as that favorite coffee truck that everybody talks about in town, and we're hoping to see people donate in the name of the fire department and the police department, and she's still trying to figure out what happens for the winner and the loser. That'll be another event that she has the opportunity to plan that.
It's actually tomorrow, not Thursday.
Is it tomorrow? Today is the 3rd, it's the 4th, you're right. May the 5th, yeah, that's right. I apologize.
Or third.
Just go get third every day.
Every day seems like a Friday to me, the way things are going. Then I also want to mention, because the council has asked on several occasions, but I did have a handshake ceremony on Friday at for 3D printing operation. A handshake with Jonathan Sweet that he says I will get a signed copy of the lease for the parking lot this week. And I already have people asking me, well, when are you going to do this, that, and the other? I need to see the lease before we do anything, but it does sound like that's a go. Also wanted to mention that I did have placed in your packets a list of what is traditionally the capital improvement budget, with more emphasis in my mind on the out years, because I have decided that, with your permission, all of those items that are listed for the next fiscal year will in fact be paid for out of ARPA money. So there will be no need for the council to appropriate specific funds for those capital projects. Again, they're all in the infrastructure area or small equipment that we need, and I think it's best to spend that money on one-time items so that we don't have that reoccurring expense in the future. And we will be getting a second influx of money in late June for the second year, so we're already planning how to use the bulk of that money. If you have any questions about any of those projects, I'd be happy to entertain those, not necessarily tonight, but at any time that we have, but we won't be actually having you all, excuse me, my allergies are kicking in, approve a capital budget in view of the fact that both for the general fund as well as the water and sewer fund, those expenditures will come out of the ARPA.
I don't recall what that number was, for what we'll be paying for our ARPA funds.
For those projects, it's roughly a $1.5 million investment out of 4.5 that we will be receiving. And we do already have some other commitments for the second year's money, but as we looked at those items and how they now qualify, because the rules have changed yet again on the use of ARPA money. We no longer have to be as strict in terms of making sure they fit categories. So with that understanding, with the final rules, we decided to move forward in this way, and I think it's a good use of.
And I think it gives us a good opportunity going forward. One problem we've always had with our 5-year capital budget and plan is we just kick it down the road, and we have these big price tags, and it never becomes reality because we don't have a plan for it, or we're not able to set aside that money. And I think now that with that, it seems like it'd be nice if we could go ahead and begin the budget for once we get past this part of the money. That's forever.
Well, yeah. And the other thing that we have done and did, excuse me, both in the water and sewer fund last year with the rate increases that were applied, and if you recall those materials, the recommendation of the consultant was that we create a capital reserve. We have done that not only in the water fund and the sewer fund, but in the general fund as well, so that we build some capacity in future years to fund things with cash and not have to borrow money. So if you look at those years, second to fifth years, and they're still being refined each year, you'll see that we have planned for future expenditures, but we also are building the funds that will help with that. And we also set in your file or folder this past week the fee adjustments, and really the only fee adjustments, excuse me, again, that are contemplated are with our building inspection permit fees that are very low in contrast to our neighbors. And we understand that our county will be raising those fees as well. And then the second year of the plan, effort to increase water and sewer in order for us to build a capacity for some of the major improvements that are still out there in the future. And if we need to have discussion of any of those at a future meeting, we can certainly do that. I also will be passing out to you this evening what looks like the recommended budget from the standpoint of the allocation to the individual departments. And I will try in the next week to have individual conversations with you about the details that are there, because we hope to be able to advertise that budget. Starting this Friday, for you to have a public hearing at your meeting in May, second meeting in May, for adoption, the first meeting in June. And I think that's everything that I wanted to tell you tonight. But I'm happy to also report, I think some of you asked it already, we have hired a gentleman in the position that Brady Beal held previously. The young man's name is Trey Peace, and he will be reporting on the 18th of May. So we're gradually getting some people into positions. Of course, there's always a training orientation time, but I'm feeling a lot of relief in just knowing that we have Olivia to help me stop having to put out an agenda and not only take minutes, but then write minutes for everyone. So we're getting there.
And you made the comment that the young lady with the fire department was a first. We got a lot of firsts. A police chief, that was a first. Jill, and you're a first.
Yeah,
And the
be
town's
careful.
actually running really well, so that says something, right? So,
I won't comment on that, but I do have a quick comeback.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I do have a quick comeback on that, but I won't.
I kind of set you up.
I know.
That's an opportunity.
That's it.
Well, with that, we come to the reminder of future council meetings. So the next one is May 17th, 2022, council work session. Our closed session will begin at 5 p.m. Public session will begin at 6:30. And as I have no other items on our agenda, I declare this meeting adjourned.